Welcome to the incredible journey of Spirit. Join us as we dive into the amazing story of the Spirit Mars rover, a machine that overcame challenges, broke barriers, and helped us better understand the mysterious red planet. This is a tale of strength, creativity, and discovery that continues to inspire humanity's drive to explore. A daring start. On January 3, 2004, Spirit began its mission with a dramatic descent through the Martian atmosphere, traveling at an incredible speed of over 19,500 kilometers per hour. It landed in Gusev Crater, a vast area that had fascinated scientists for years. Spirit's mission was initially planned to last just 90 Martian days, or sols, but it far exceeded expectations, surviving for an incredible 2,208 sols. During its journey, Spirit faced extreme conditions, technical issues, and the tough challenges of Mars's harsh environment. Despite these obstacles, the rover uncovered secrets that changed our understanding of the planet. The landing itself was a feat of engineering. Protected by airbag systems, Spirit bounced and rolled across the Martian surface before coming to a stop. The mission team anxiously awaited confirmation, and when telemetry signaled a safe landing, the journey of scientific discovery officially began. As the first images of Mars were sent back to Earth, the excitement was unmatched. NASA's Spirit rover landed on the dusty surface of Mars almost exactly 21 years ago, revolutionizing our knowledge of the red planet. In fact, the golf cart-sized rover was originally tasked with searching for traces of water on Mars, and it ultimately fulfilled its mission with flying colors. Since then, we have learned that the reddish, shimmering celestial body was by no means always as dry as a bone, as had long been assumed. Yet the Spirit mission also had a series of rather unpleasant incidents in store. Unfortunately, contact with the probe was suddenly lost in March 2010, and since NASA experts were unable to re-establish the connection in the period that followed, the mission was forced to end the following year. Fortunately, Spirit was not alone in exploring alien worlds. Its sister probe, Opportunity, was built in the same way and would continue to examine Mars under the microscope until June 2018. All good things come in threes. When NASA's Spirit and Opportunity probes touched down on Mars on January 4 and 25, 2004, they did not land in the traditional sense. Instead, they first bounced across the planet's surface about 30 times in a bundle of airbags before finally coming to a halt. While the probes had left Earth on June 10 and July 7, 2003, NASA experts had given them a very exciting task. Could it be that Mars, which today is a prime example of a supposedly dead and cold planet, once had water? Since the Mars Global Surveyor and 2001 Mars Odyssey space probes had already revealed the telltale traces of a former lake, the experts decided to select the corresponding region in the Gusev crater as the landing site for Spirit. Opportunity, in turn, got up close and personal with a small crater in the Meridiani Planum lowlands on the opposite side of the planet. If everything had gone according to plan, the mission would have been over after about 3 months. Fortunately, however, not everything went according to plan. While the originally predicted mission duration was just 90 sols, or 90 Martian days, both probes were to exceed this target range by far. A brief explanation. 1 sol is equivalent to 24 hours, 39 minutes, and 35 seconds. Spirit ultimately covered more than 2,200 sols instead of the targeted 90 sols, meaning that it was able to travel significantly more meters and take more pictures than expected. Expressed in figures, this means that the rover moved a total of 7,730 meters across the Martian surface, sending more than 156,000 images back to Earth. The rover's scientific work was not neglected either. Spirit took almost 370 measurements with the APXS X-ray spectrometer and 933 measurements with the so-called Moosebauer spectrometer, which was able to analyze Martian material without destroying it. As already mentioned, Spirit was not tied to a fixed location. With its 6 independently driven wheels, it was able to explore the Martian surface in a mobile way. In addition to the various cameras and spectrometers, the probe was also equipped with a swivel arm, a rock microscope, and an instrument that allowed it to brush and drill several millimeters into rock surfaces. While most of us would probably need a short breather after a journey through space lasting several months, Spirit began sending the first high-resolution color images from Mars to Earth soon after its airbag-supported soft landing. What we see is another Martian wasteland, peppered with reddish-brown sand and countless stones, which at first glance could easily be mistaken for an earthly desert. No less impressive, however, is the true color image of the central part of the so-called Columbia Hills, captured from a distance of about 300 meters with Spirit's panoramic camera. After the first pictures were taken and the first chemical and mineralogical tests had been carried out, an incident occurred that, in retrospect, seems like an ominous omen. On January 21, 2004, NASA's ground team suddenly lost contact with Spirit. It soon became clear that Spirit's computer had malfunctioned and was constantly rebooting due to a memory error. Fortunately, the experts were able to fix the problem quickly and resume normal operations on February 6. The scientific centerpiece of the mission, the search for former water, was also initially ill-fated. The analysis of the first rock samples showed that they were basaltic in nature and showed no influence from the cool, wet conditions. NASA decided to send the rover to the Columbia Hills over 2 kilometers away, where Spirit finally arrived on Sol 158 and sensed an exciting first clue. Spectroscopic examinations of a rock showed that it contained hematite, a mineral that can form in contact with water. However, the decisive water hint was landed on Sol 205, named Clovis. This unusual rock contained a clear signature of the iron-rich mineral goethite, which contains water in the form of hydroxyl as part of its structure. This extraordinary discovery was one of the most certain indications of the existence of water on Mars. Meanwhile, Opportunity recorded an equally remarkable find on the opposite side of the planet. Specifically, Spirit's sister probe was confronted with boundless blueberries at its landing site. Of course, these were not delicious Martian berries, but small rock spheres composed of hematite. They were partially embedded in the layered rock of the crater rim or scattered in front of it. Researchers concluded that these spheres had formed within the rock. Further investigation showed that they contained jarosite, a potassium iron sulfate hydroxide typically formed in a watery environment. Spirit then focused on climbing Husband Hill, taking another series of fascinating panoramic images on a ridge below the summit. Further excursions to McCool Hill, Low Ridge Haven, and Silica Valley followed. In Silica Valley, Spirit captured a dust devil, a special air vortex about 34 meters in size. The rover also had additional success in its search for water traces. While Spirit had already identified a sulfurous material at Husband Hill in which water molecules were probably bound, the probe later encountered a rock with high magnesium iron carbonate content. This mineral forms in wet, pH-neutral environments and dissolves in acidic liquids. Spirit had uncovered a decisive clue that non-acidic water must have once existed on Mars. In Silica Valley, Spirit stumbled upon a sandy, churned-up area of significant scientific interest. The sand consisted of 90% silicates, which are typically formed under the influence of water. Scientists hypothesized that the region might have been shaped by a hot spring, suggesting it could have offered suitable conditions for life. Modern Martian conditions, however, proved far more tempestuous. A severe planet-spanning sandstorm in 2007 significantly hampered the missions of both rovers. Less than 9% of sunlight reached the surface, forcing Spirit and Opportunity into a temporary hibernation. Afterward, the rovers could only perform minor activities until the storm subsided. Spirit's journey faced additional challenges. On May 1, 2009, Spirit became trapped in soft, loose material in the West Valley, unable to move forward or backward despite simulated rescue attempts on Earth. Despite incremental progress, Spirit remained stuck. This sand trap turned into an unexpected scientific boon, as it revealed a mixture of sulfate and silicate materials indicating the recent presence of liquid water. True to the motto, a blessing in disguise, Spirit's entrapment offered exciting research opportunities. However, the rover's inability to free itself, coupled with declining energy supply and an approaching Martian winter, spelled its doom. NASA launched the high-profile Free Spirit campaign to engage the public in rescue efforts, but success eluded the mission. The rover officially became a stationary research platform. Despite all efforts, contact with Spirit was lost on March 22, 2010. Various attempts to re-establish communication continued until May 25, 2011, but Spirit never responded again. The mission had come to an involuntary end. Spirit's last image, sent in February 2010, was a panoramic view of a portion of the 166-kilometer-wide Gusev crater. Meanwhile, Opportunity, Spirit's sister probe, operated for much longer. Its mission ended after 14 years and 219 days on Mars when it could not be reawakened following a dust storm.